Have you ever wanted to eat really healthy and eat more fruits and vegetables, but yet you can't seem to figure out how because you just simply don't like fruits and vegetables? Well, in this video, I'm going to discuss how you can retrain yourself to like fruits and vegetables and the reason why. So stay tuned. Welcome to Be Well Healthy Living. My name is Tara and I'm a Master Certified Health and Wellness Coach. Our tastes are part of a complex system that goes beyond just our taste buds that we're all familiar with. In this video, I'm going to break it down into two different sections. The first, I'm going to be discussing the science behind why you have certain tastes and preferences. The second part is I'm going to give you 6 tips that you can do to help to change your preferences and introduce more foods that you aren't accustomed to liking. All right, most people are familiar with our taste buds. Those regenerate approximately every 2 weeks, and those are tiny little sensors that basically just send signals to the brain that tell us if something is sweet or savory, for example. But our taste buds are just the beginning of an entire process called our gustatory complex. And that involves those signals that are being sent from our taste buds all the way to our brain, to our gustatory cortex. Now that is located inside of our brain, and that has connections with the hippocampus, a part of our brain that is associated with making memories. So yes, you have memory in your brain that is associated with taste. Taste is deeply emotional, similar to our sense of smell, where you might smell a perfume that maybe a loved one used to wear. It might take you back to memories, to fond memories that you had with that person or in a specific time that you had lived. Well, the sense of smell and the sense of taste are actually connected in that gustatory complex. They both work simultaneously and together because, believe it or not, whether you realize it, your sense of smell is enhancing that sense of taste. So putting this all together, we have something that's called a gustatory memory now. So now we understand that our taste association come from memories that are in our brain. So the moment I say chocolate, most people will associate and actually know chocolate is a good thing. But if I were to say broccoli, maybe some of you might have really negative associations and memories with it. And the thing is that it comes from the brain and not necessarily what we're tasting at the moment. So you can see the importance of, if you want to change your taste, we have to start with reprogramming our mind. The unfortunate part is that most Americans and most people that participate in a Western diet, let's say, are going to be pre-programmed from the days of our youth to very unhealthy processed foods. So that is the biggest thing that we have to overcome, is because we have these gustatory memories that tell us that these certain types of foods are yummy, or perhaps that other foods like vegetables are not so good because maybe perhaps they were made in such a way that wasn't appealing or appetizing to us as kids. Let's take an example of peas and carrots. That was pretty much a standard staple in a lot of American meals back a long time ago, and even still today. You get a bag of frozen peas and carrots, you put it together, you microwave it, whatever, you eat it, and it might not be appealing the way it was made or prepared, very little flavor, and you were forced to eat it as a kid. And you have this negative association with peas and carrots. So now in your mind, you're going to have that gustatory memory of this particular type of food being disgusting and you hate it, and you're not going to want to eat it because you have memory associated with it. On the other hand, you may have a memory of something sweet, and perhaps it might take you back to a very fond time. Maybe it was a favorite birthday party that you had and you had this delicious cake or something like that, and you're going to now have a positive associated memory with that particular food. So now to bring it all together, you're going to be able to see how our memories of specific types of food are going to affect our perception of them and whether we like them or not. So the trick is doing the things it takes to reprogram your mind. So now let's talk about 6 different steps that you can take to help reprogram your gustatory memory to actually like certain foods. Number 1, prep them. Having foods already prepped and ready to go in your refrigerator is probably one of the easiest ways to make sure that you get vegetables into your food preparation. So for example, you're going to make an omelet, and if you didn't have that vegetable, let's say you want to put a zucchini in it, but you already had it prepped in your refrigerator ready to go, you just pull out your container and throw it in. It's going to be a lot easier to get it in there versus if you didn't have it and then you're going to think, oh, I got to make the omelet, now I got to chop the zucchini, and there just makes more work to it. So you're less likely to go through the efforts of doing that before you prepare your meal. So preparing them ahead of time, spending a day when you come home from the grocery store and just prepping them all and putting them all in your fridge is probably one of the easiest ways to ensure that you can get these vegetables in your food recipes. Number 2, creatively challenge yourself to prepare them in tastier ways. Perhaps some of your negative memories are associated with the way things were prepared when you tried them the last time. If you got a bag of steamed broccoli and you threw it in the microwave and then you just put it on your plate with a tiny little bit of salt or even that, it might not be appealing to you. But there's a lot better ways that you can prepare vegetables that are going to be more fun. Let's take an example, and I'm going to use Panda Express as an example. They have a particular dish that's very popular called beef with broccoli. Now, a lot of people, they love the beef part, obviously, and the flavor, but there's something about the broccoli and the way that they pan fry it and they put it all together and the taste with the sauce that makes it more appetizing. So somebody that doesn't necessarily like broccoli per se when they make it at home might actually like the way it tastes prepared in this particular recipe. This is a really good example of how something prepared in a tastier method can be more appetizing than something prepared in a non-tasty method. Sometimes steaming can be, yeah, it might be healthy, but it might not be very tasty or appetizing to you. But maybe roasting them might be a delicious alternative. Or pan frying them in some grass-fed butter or something like that, that might actually be delicious. And there's other ways to prepare vegetables that might taste a little bit better. Putting them together in sauces, that's another great thing, because saucing and flavoring in different methods like that can make a big difference. Number 3, add in little by little. I'm going to give an anecdotal story how I started eating spinach. Now, there was a time that I was going out to, this was a long time ago, I was going out to lunch often at a place with a salad bar, and I always filled up with a salad ahead of time. Now, I was always familiar with romaine and iceberg lettuce, and at that time I was trying to eat healthier. So I would put the romaine lettuce on my plate, but there was also spinach there. So I would put spinach on top of it. So that way there was romaine mixed with a little tiny spinach. Then I started eventually getting used to the flavor and started putting eventually more spinach on and a little bit more. And to this day now, I actually skip the romaine and I can make a salad full of spinach, which I love. So high in iron, it's magnesium, it's really good for you. But I love spinach salads. But if I would have all of a sudden jumped into just eating a salad full of spinach, I probably would have hated it. But because I baby stepped it and I did little, and I added a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, my taste over time changed and developed to actually really like the taste of spinach. So if there's a particular vegetable or fruit that you are trying to like, I recommend starting little by little and getting little bits here and a little bit there, and pretty soon just keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it, and eventually you're going to find that your tastes have changed and you now actually like the taste of that particular food. Number 4, repeated exposure. So you give it one shot and you might not like it. It might be a little bit tough the first time. Don't give up. Keep going. Now, Keep doing a little bit more, and as you add in a little bit more, just keep repeating yourself to that and keep exposing yourself to that. And you're going to find that your tastes are going to change the more you expose yourself to those flavors. Number 5, positive association. So when you're trying to eat a fruit or a vegetable that maybe you're trying to retrain yourself to like, put together some memories with it. Perhaps do something fun. If you're trying it when you're going out to eat with a loved one, maybe then you're going to associate that particular food with that loved one. Or maybe you're just at home and you can make a candlelight dinner or do something fun with it, or have fun in the kitchen as you're preparing it. But build positive memories that are associated with that particular fruit and vegetable. I know it sounds really silly, but remember, food preferences and tastes are associated with our gustatory memory. So what we're trying to do is have new positive associations with that particular type of food. So the more positive and happy memories that we have with that type of food, it's going to replace any negative ones that we may have had from our childhood or our past, or in other times when we have tried to eat those particular foods. Number 6, experiment with music. So when you're eating foods that you're trying to have new associations with, listening to music can actually affect your perception and the way you taste your food, believe it or not. Higher pitched sounds enhance sweetness, while lower sounds actually enhance and bring out the bitterness in certain types of foods. If music is too loud, it'll be less flavorful. So having softer music will bring out the flavors. You can also listen to music that is associated with the type of cuisine that you're eating. This is seen everywhere in restaurants. When you walk into that specific restaurant and you might hear, let's say you're going for Mexican food, you're going to hear some type of Latin American music that is going to spice it up and make you feel like the food is more authentic. Same thing when you go to an Italian restaurant. You might hear these Italian songs that's going to get you in that theme. So those work with the memories and positive associations with those particular foods. But it really goes beyond that, because there are specific tones that are going to affect the way that you perceive certain foods. If you walk into a fancy restaurant, a fancy steakhouse, perhaps you might hear some soft jazz in the background. That's going to elevate the exquisiteness of the food. So it's a very psychological game when you are eating, and restaurants and companies know this. So you can bring the same effect to your home as you prepare food. So experiment with different types of music and how that makes you feel when you eat them. But remember, nothing too loud, because the louder you go with the music, that's going to dull the taste down. So you want the music nice and soft in the background. So I hope this video has been helpful for you, so you don't beat yourself up for not liking certain foods that are associated with being healthy, like fruits and vegetables are. So now you can see that there's a reason why. There's a psychological reason that's associated with our memory and associations, whether both positive or negative, from the past. So by understanding this, we know how to reprogram and rewire our minds to retrain ourselves to go against the programming of the standard American diet. Remember, knowledge is power. So now that you understand the reasons why you have certain particular cravings or certain aversions is really truly because of memory association and how our brain was programmed many years ago. If I have provided valuable content, I would so much appreciate it if you like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if there's any particular fruits or vegetables that you just can't stand, but you might be wanting to try a little bit more of them. Thank you so much for watching. Peace, blessings, and good health, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.